Good morning to everybody present today in this webinar. I welcome all of you to an exciting 1 hour journey of knowing the life lessons of a highly prestigious human being who has excelled not only in his professional area, but also is personally so deeply invested till date in the development and progress of one and all wherever he goes. Truly a gem of a person personally, and an amazing empathic human being. So I welcome Dr. Kumar Krishen to the GD Goenka family, and I thank him for graciously accepting this invite for the webinar. I would like to introduce Dr. Kumar to all of you. He is the Chief Technologist for the Krishen Foundation, which is responsible for developing strategies for joint research and technology projects and plans with organizations involved in developing technology to enable and fuel the betterment of life for humanity. So, students, members of the audience, everybody, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Kumar, and he was with NASA for over 42 years, and he has served as a senior scientist, lead technologist, and has also been the recipient of the prestigious NASA Exceptional Service Medal, along with other numerous accolades which are to his merit. He has served Virginia Tech as University Fellow for Technology Transfer, Office of the Special Initiatives, and visiting professor on a special NASA assignment. He has served as an adjunct professor at Rice University. Currently, he holds the appointment of adjunct professor at the University of Houston, USA, and honorary professor for Delhi Technological University in India. Sir is closely affiliated with a lot of educational institutions here in India, even after being based in US for a lot of years now. And he is very passionate about forwarding the cause of education, forwarding the cause of knowledge, inspiring the youth, and giving a part of his life and commitment to the time invested in universities for developing their technological uh, pursuits. Sir has also served as the Johnson Space Center chief technologist, and he has represented the Johnson Space Center as the principal technologist on the NASA Council. He has been instrumental in a lot of NASA projects, which I'm sure Sir would be explaining and telling us today. And I extend a very warm welcome to you, sir. And I really hope that our students enjoy this session that we are going to have with you today. Today, Sir has graciously accepted to be a part of this webinar, which is termed as the Silver Lining Series, which is an initiative to inculcate hope and inspiration amongst our children, and also to foster learning in the middle of a crisis. So, sir, as in my initial interaction with you, I have mentioned that this pandemic has severely hit the lives of many people across the globe. I mean, to my knowledge, I do not remember anybody who has not been affected in the past 1 year. And because of this pandemic, uh, hope has shattered. Because of this pandemic, people are finding it difficult to stand up again, and uh, fight this entire what do you say, the crisis that has come across upon our lives. So I'm looking forward to this session today with you, sir, and I hand it over to you from here. Uh, Please say a few words in your introduction, and just continue with the webinar after that. Please share your thoughts with us.
I'm so delighted to be a part of this series. And let me, at the outset, thank Dean Sharon. Uh, I guess it's Angela Midha Sharon.
Anjali Midhashar, Dr.
Angela
Anjali Midhashar.
Midha Sharon. And I am so thankful to Professor Shubham Thukral. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Absolutely, absolutely correct, sir.
So it's such a delight for me, because see, GD stands for Gayatri Devi. And Gayatri, to me, I was exposed to Gayatri mantra when I was only 5 years old. And the beauty of Gayatri mantra leads you to Vidya, you know, and it leads you to Saraswati. That kind of association with GD Goenka University is, priceless. I want to say two things and then we'll jump into the presentation. In NASA, we have rockets, we go fast. If we don't go fast, we'll never reach to our destination. So keep up with me, especially students. And at the end, then we'll have some time for questions and answers. As you can see from my opening chart, there are two things very important. A, this is dedicated to those who have right now are and in future will bring what? Three things: hope, peace, and prosperity to humanity. And that is the continuation of humanity. Essentially, those three things are essential for the continuity of our existence on this earth. The second thing I want to say very clearly, whatever I say today is not necessarily what NASA would say. The reason for that is I have directly worked for NASA for 43 years and indirectly before that for almost 10 years. So it's huge investment of time with NASA. And many of my relatives call me NASA uncle. Not surprising because where are you working? NASA.
NASA.
So what are we going to expect from this talk? I'm also enjoying this talk. It's not only you. I'm a student. I'm learning every time. Every time I talk about the subject, I get excited. I learn a little bit. So first, we will be hoping that I will request you to start thinking about inspiration. In a second, you will see how this explodes into a bigger picture. One word, inspiration, but explosion of it. Then we'll try to understand what inspiration is. I want to make one clear attempt that why do we need to be inspired? And that you will see is connected with we need to be continuously innovating and creating. That's how we have this continuity of human civilization. Then something that will leap out of this presentation, hopefully, is what does living inspired mean? And then I have done all my life, quite frankly, right after I left from 10th grade, 10th class from my home, I've been thinking about how do people get inspired? How do they achieve these great things, are on top of the world, so to say. So we'll talk about that insider's view, that survey I have done. And students, I hope and pray that at the end of this presentation, you will leave totally inspired. So why is inspiration important? It's important if you really believe in bringing hope, peace, and prosperity for humanity. If you really want to uplift people, if you want to achieve revolutionarily, not evolutionary, revolutionary effect in the status of humanity, in raising, especially now when we had this pandemic and we are down on our knees, is each think about these things. These are things that you can think about. There's no answer. The answer is in your mind, in your experience, or in some ways what you will listen from me or anybody else on this subject. But then, is each one of us inspired differently? So is it an individual phenomena? You get inspired one way, I get inspired. That person gets inspired another way. How can we tell a person is inspired? These are some of the things that will leap, hopefully, out of this presentation. Do inspired people inspire others? Now, at the end, hopefully, can being inspired and inspiring others make a difference in bettering the humanity or our lives on this earth? So now, so what inspires us? A lot of things. But here is a kind of like we call it in America, laundry list. A list of things that you could think about that inspire us. What is this list? Human behaviors, qualities. Somebody gives you something out of nowhere. Somebody compliments you. Right now, Professor Tukral, she was being so gracious, the way she introduced me. These are behaviors sometimes that kind of kick our inspiration. Unique human accomplishments. Look at the people who visit Mount Everest. Look at Mahatma Gandhi. Look at people who get Nobel Prize for some reason or the other. Extraordinary human achievement. Like somebody has one leg and still can get a gold medal in Olympics. Something unbelievable that we didn't believe in, and it happened. It could inspire us. Okay. And in my case today, if you leave inspired, that will be something unbelievable for Kumar Krishen, Dr. Kumar Krishen. And therefore, he will be excited and inspired at the end of the day. A saying, for example, I listen to Kabir, I listen to Surdas, and Kabir, just about 2 days back, says, Kutil Vachan Sadhu Sahe, or say Sahana Jaye. Man, it blew my mind. And I thought, man, I have some saintly qualities because people have given me so many bad names, but I never protested. Okay, that's what I wanted to say about a saying. Great works of art. Sometimes you go to a museum or someplace, you see an art, a science, an engineering. It inspires you. A performance, music. When I'm with music, I'm listening to, some great singer or musician, I get carried away. I get inspired. Something that touches us and never leaves us. Think about that. A job. My job inspired me because I was thinking of, exploring the universe. Man, this is great. I'll know what's happening out there where nobody can reach. So, students, what are some behaviors that just about any religion, any person belonging to different religions, castes, creeds, colors, countries, times, etc., will agree on? And this is the list. Most of these things, all of them, I would say, people agree as being great attributes, great lifestyles, and great behaviors. What are they? Truthfulness and pursuit of knowledge. They go together. You can be truthful if you are knowledged. Sometimes a lack of knowledge, ignorance, can lead one person to say something which is not truth. So these two are kind of like coupled together. They go together. Honesty. Honesty is a great attribute, a great behavior. Non-violence is incredible. You have, ahimsa, paramo, dharma, the greatest dharma. But, but there is a BUT, and that is destruction of evil is also a great achievement. I'm walking on Mathura Road. I told this story, and a conductor, there's a driver, a conductor in the bus, almost threw one lady with a kid out of the bus. The bus hadn't even stopped. Twit, like that. Man, you saw a violent Dr. Kumar Krishen. I slapped the person right, and he is so hatta katta, real strong. I thought, well, tadak, because I got so worried if another car would hit those two people, it would be. So destruction of evil, this is a simple example. But we have a lot of, Atangwadis, people who are determined, gung-ho, to do harm. And therefore, if we can defeat their purpose, that's also compassion, serving those in need. That's a great achievement. And healthy and inspired living. Sadhana or seva, they go together. If you are not yourself physically and mentally well, it's very hard for you to do things for others, right? Very hard. So, what are some bad things? I got this from internet, and when I see this figure, I laugh. Really. Here are your big 4 things, in my opinion. You can track anything that's not good behavior to these 4 things. A, lust. What do we call it? Kama. B, anger, krodh. Pamposh enclave. And there's one, I won't say what he belonged to, but he is giving all kinds of names to this boy who is supposed to be cleaning his car. First, he will use 10, 15 bad names. Bichare ko gali de raha hai. That's what I call anger. God knows where that anger came from. That boy was something like 10 years old. He came to clean his car, and first he was giving him greed, kama, krodha, lobe, attachment to the word. I have to have 2 cars. I was talking to my friend in India and classmate. He said, what are you driving? I said, GMC car, it has lots of dents and it's about 25 years old. He said, you will never get respect in India. That is the depiction of greed. I said, how can I get, you have to have Mercedes, you have to have Lexus. Yahan tumhe koi respect nahi milega. That is what I call attachment to greed. Uneducated, without knowledge, without wisdom living. Got to go a little faster. But now these behaviors are there to, do harm to humanity. Now, you're seeing a logo on top. That's an iceberg. In this world, what you see is very little. What you don't see is a lot. But I believe in Einstein when he said the mysterious is really true source of all art and science. There is a mystery in life. It's mysterious that I'm talking to you this time. It's already 11 something in United States in Houston, and I'm talking to Goenka University. Isn't it mystery? You gave me the opportunity to talk to me. This is a mysterious happening. That a person belonging to a small village in Kashmir, leaving, going to Srinagar, going to Calcutta, going to United States, all these things happen to this person. And now at a very old age, he's talking to young people at Goenka University. Imagination, imagine things. I always imagine I'm in the universe. I can see these black holes. I can see the Milky Way, Andromeda. I can see stars fighting with it. I can even go outside this universe. And I was talking to my one physicist, relative, very close relative. I said, I want to know what's outside universe. He said, you will never be able to go, Dad, outside. I said, why? He said, because the universe has such a gravity, it won't allow you. I said, but my thought will go outside. So these, my friends, uh, are, imagination and that mysterious happening. Now, life on Earth has been here for quite some time. They are estimating now 3.2 billion years back. And when I was in the high school and then in the college, I used to think thousands of years was a big deal. Now, billions. Can you believe that? Fossils found in India, of all the places, trace life to 400 million years back. So in India, the civilization is very long. The discovery was found in well-preserved sedimentary rocks in the central part of India. Now, life on Earth, again, American scientists in 2011, 50 to 100 million years back, Homo sapiens about 200,000 years back. So there's a reason why I'm telling you this. We are not yesterday's civilization. We are not yesterday's beings. We are from a very long time. Skeletons have been found in Africa, in Asia, in places like China, India, African countries like Kenya, that date back, Europe, I should say, 50,000 years back. Oldest fossils, 315. Latest, within the last month or so, people have found paintings of native pig in Indonesia, 45,000 years back. So now, humanity has been here for a very long time. But why do we need to be inspired? Because inspiration is connected with invention. But why do we need innovation and invention? First of all, to understand the universe, time, space, energy, matter. I sent Professor Tukral my essay on understanding universe. And it's wonderful for us to know that time has been dwelt a lot in India. People have spent a whole lot of time to understand time and have come up with one conclusion. Time has been there all the time. A conclusion which is not quite resonating with Big Bang theory. The Big Bang theorists say time and space started when that Big Bang happened. Then you ask them what was there before. You don't get much answer. One time I did, and this professor at Virginia Tech said, Kumar, let's go for a cup of coffee. I am not joking you. He took me to coffee and we talked a little bit. He skirted the whole discussion. You ask people what's outside this universe, they will tell you, well, it's too big to think about. Give me a break. You ask people, how did life start? You don't get. So that's the part of understanding universe, understanding solar system, understanding the earth, understanding everything around us. But then comes the problems that we are going to face here on the earth. Earth is a part of the universe. Whatever happens in the universe, whatever happens in the solar system happens here. If there is a solar flare, we'll get hot. Things happen. Asteroids. If an asteroid hits, something like 65 some million years back, an asteroid hit, raised the dust, engulfed the whole world, Earth. No sunlight could come. Vegetation failed because there is no photosynthesis. All the animals died. Look at this. Volcanoes. If all volcanoes decide to abruptly, take off, you will have so much black dust, you won't have sunlight. Then, earth plate motion. This should hit home to us because if it is in the ocean, you get tsunamis. One tsunami hit the coast of India and killed 1 lakh people. 100,000 people died. Earthquake hit, for example, Nepal, and you see the devastation. Then there was earlier to that in Pakistan, you see the devastation. Tsunamis, I talked about. Floods. Floods are very common in the United States, huge floods. In India also, I'm reading some floods have ruined a lot of villages. Sinkholes, suddenly the ground goes down. So tornadoes, we have a tornado alley here, we call it, in Kansas where I was, and then Oklahoma and all that. Man, everything else, everything in the path of a tornado, it's gone. You will see a village, then you will see nothing. Sandstorms, natural fires. India may not have that many fires, but we do have here in California. We had huge number of fires. Hurricanes. I can tell you, hurricanes have really, really killed lots of people throughout the world. Now, consequences of human activities. When I was born, there were 2.3 billion people on this earth, students. Today, there are 7.8 billion people. Imagine the resources. Close your eyes and think. For one day, if you have to feed 7.8 billion people good food, imagine the amount of food. Imagine the amount of water. Imagine what happens afterwards. They go to bathroom, they go to toilet, and imagine to take care of all that comes out. We have learned the hard way because we are putting these astronauts in these closed capsules, and if we are not careful, that thing comes all around because of zero gravity. And we had that problem with mice one time. So taking care of that pollution is a lot. Congestion. Things are getting crowded. Imagine if in such a short time as my life, of course, I'm very old, but that's okay. Given the fact that population goes from 2.3 to 7.8, imagine what it will go to in another 100 years. Congestion, global warming. Then health challenges. We had a virus, we lost 500,000 people in the United States and counting. 5 lakh log mar gaye. Cancer is always a problem. Brain-related issues, Alzheimer's, lack of memory. I'm trying my best, Professor Tukral. I am not kidding you. I every day exercise my brain. Read math, solve some problems, read physics. So, but the heart is a killer. And now it has affected ladies too. So the question is this, and the way I understand from people who have studied this subject, the bottom line is an increase in either inspiration or imagination has exponential effect on innovation. My colleague, Alan, said inspiration, innovation, and imagination have a symbiotic relationship. You can't separate them. You get inspired to invent, to innovate, to solve a problem. That's what we need in this world to continue. Look at India, look at congestion, look at pollution. How are you going to solve these problems sitting at home, not being inspired, not thinking that my greatest achievement will be to continue to help continue the healthy lives of people. So inspiration, imagination, inclusion, leadership, perspiration. I call it I3LP, lead to great future. Great future. Now we come to this thing that we have been told in Bharatvarsha, India, long time back. Hey, whatever you see is Maya. Reality kuch aur hai. That comes loud and clear when you see these newspapers. They say, oh, something is happening in the universe. No, it's not happening. It happened hundreds of millions of years ago. the light traveled, then we trapped it with Hubble, maybe Chandra, maybe some other telescope, and then we are saying, okay, this happened. Well, that happened millions of years back. So the reality has changed. That's not the reality. That's something that happened way back then. And so when we see something, we, by the time we interpret that in our brain, several seconds have gone. And therefore, during that time, that thing has changed. Finally, Heisenberg says, look, principle of uncertainty says, if you know something about something very accurately, you will not know something related to that something not so accurately. For example, if you know the position of something, of a particle, you will not know the momentum of that particle. Then, oops. So now, then there is this lots of phenomena, like if you have a car going by, it would seem it's going, the tires are going the other direction. And then you have lights play a lot of tricks. I'll give you one example that just came out the other day. Here's a ship floating in the air, and this is 2021, March the 5th. How did this happen? A few thousand years back, if people have seen a ship floating like this, they would have never understood what really happened. So what we see, what I was trying to tell you in these slides, what we see is a part of reality, not the whole of reality. It's like the iceberg. The bigger picture is down there. However, the unknown and known are connected. So metaphysical domains is something that you need to think about when you are looking and understanding things. There is something in the back that you need to concentrate not on what you're seeing. You need to sometimes concentrate on what is behind what I am seeing. If I'm seeing a face, an angry face, why is that angry face leaping at me? Is there a reason behind that? So what are some good things for us to do? Professor Tukral, how many minutes more we got?
So about 10 minutes more you have.
Okay. So this comes from Panchatantra, which was written in Kashmir. I'm so proud of the fact that it was written in Kashmir. And it's the wisdom of our Guru Vishnu Sharman. And it says, we should be with learned people. It's better to be in hell with learned people than with vulgar people in places God called heaven. So it's the same thing that George Washington, kind of echoed. Then, this is my favorite. This is something I told my 3 daughters. All of them are PhD. All of them have doctorate. One of them is actually a physician. But there is no toy. कोई खिलौना नहीं है called easy joy. It's not something, joy is not a toy. Okay? You have to strain. Human must strain to body's pain. ये joy लाने के लिए बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. Then, let's see what Thomas Edison said. He said genius is 1%, inspiration 99%. Invention is 1%, inspiration 99% for Einstein. Okay, what do you think I said? I am saying 50-50. Great achievements can require about 50% inspiration, 50% perspiration. Inspiration I give more compared to 1% of those great personality. I consider myself a student. That's okay. I can make mistakes. Mine is 50-50. तो इसी तरह जो यहाँ तुल्य हैं, the people who are determined to disrupt this civilization, their goals are empty holes. I call them black holes. कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे. At the end of the day, Satyam eva jayati. Truth alone prevails. तो इंस्पायरेशन, इस आदमी को देखकर इंस्पायर नहीं हो जाओगे तो क्या करोगे? अभी भी वो जिंदा है. हाँ, फौजा सिंह इज लिविंग इन लंदन सम प्लेस, and he started running at the age of 65. Go see his achievements. कितने बड़े बड़े मैराथन इसने लगाए हैं. ये हुए अपनी सुनीता विलियम्स, my close friend also in some ways. I consider her, and we ran together. She was 5 kilometer का race था. She was about a kilometer ahead of me. So at the end, I told Sunita, I said, Sunita, next time I'll be ahead of you. She said, dream on, Kumar, dream on. Huh? Supne lagao. My great colleague, we did some research also together, Dr. Kalpana Chawla. Huh? कहां से आई? करनाल से आई. क्या देखा था वहां? क्या जाना था? Look, एक बार उसको देखते ना आप, फोटो से ही आपको पता लगेगा इसकी पर्सनालिटी. फॉरगेट, मैं जब उसको मिलता था ना, she was shorter, she was not taller, but at least my height. But the point is, I would see her face, I would get inspired. Man, just the face से ही मैं सोचता था मैं भी कुछ करूंगा यहाँ. एस्ट्रोनॉट नहीं बनूंगा, मैं डरता हूं, लेकिन कुछ करके ही जाऊंगा. So purpose in life, students, leads to success and satisfaction. पहले कुछ अपने मन में सोचो, हर दिन सोचो, हर हफ्ते सोचो, हर साल सोचो, but सोचो कुछ करना है, करके ही जाना है. That's what I did. I come from a small village in Kashmir. Look what I left behind. Look where I am. यहां इतनी गर्मी होती है समर में ह्यूस्टन में कि आदमी परेशान हो जाता है. कलकत्ता में था तो वहां सड़कें पिघलती थी, चप्पल बंद हो जाता था. अरे बाबा, यहां पर मैं था, कितना मजा आता था. वो हम जिसको लोक बोलते हैं, वहां जाके कुछ खाओ, आराम से बैठो. ये देखो क्या बाग थे, इसमें मैं कितना खेलता था शालीमार गार्डन में. इस यहां पर मैं होता था इस साइड में यहां. लेकिन wants or needs, I wanted something to achieve. Okay, so if you only strive for getting the needs in terms of achievements, inspiration, you'll be there. लोग क्या करते हैं? Just the opposite. They will accumulate wealth beyond doubt, want more cars, want more homes, want this, want that. But the wants should be more geared towards achievements, serving people, living a healthy life, doing sadhana, doing seva. And needs are what you need for creating those great goals. Power किसमें है? Knowledge में. और मेरे पिताजी ये बोलते थे all the time, the pen is mightier than the sword. So मेरा saying भी है, मैं भी, I'm a student, I'm learning. Knowledge की मेरी saving ये है, a few of us reach the goal by knowing somebody. कोई किसी मिनिस्टर का बेटा है, कोई कौन है, कोई क्या है, कोई रिच मैन का है. लेकिन हम जैसे लोग, कुमार कृष्ण जैसे लोग, we get what we have by knowing what we know. ठीक है ना? So सारा दुनिया देखो, ये ललेश्वरी, ललदेद हम इसको कश्मीरी में बोलते हैं, उसने बोला हाँ तू सारा देख ले, लेकिन एट द एंड जो भी है तुम्हारे मन में है, माइंड में है. That's why she said at the end, so my lamp of knowledge blazed afar breathless. She said, here in my own house, मेरे ही मन में सारा knowledge है ना, सारा संसार मेरे ही में. For lost and dead and past, ये पंचतंत्रा में है. Wise have no limits. जो चला गया चला गया. लेकिन जो बेवकूफ होते हैं वो तो उसी पर कंसंट्रेट करते हैं. Things that they cannot achieve, things that have gone past. So love, that was the knowledge. Love, pyar. Here is Mother Teresa saying, we can do no great things, only small things with love. ये कहानी जरूरी बतानी है प्रोफेसर तुकराव. That is this. I am in a village. boondoggles में खेती बाड़ी का लोग कर रहे हैं, मजूरी कर रहे हैं. तो इन्होंने बोला, ये कहां से टपका? ये तो गोरा आदमी लग रहा है, ये तो फॉरेनर लग रहा है, जरा देखते हैं. तो 10-15 जने खड़ा हो गए. Some with little turbans and some कट्टी फट्टी saris and all that. तो सडनली मैंने बोला कि इस दुनिया में सबसे प्रेशियस चीज क्या है? One lady shouted, प्यार. मैं क्या सोच रहा था मन में? They will say, खाना पीना मकान कपड़े. I was wrong, and it gave me tears. It gave me inspiration. कि प्यार ही प्रेशियस चीज है. लीडरशिप. महात्मा गांधी कोई लीडर लगता था क्या? उसकी मुंह की तरह देखो, क्या पहना है? लेकिन लीडर नहीं है कि टाई लगा दी, ये कर दिया. स्टडी लीडर्स, दे आर इंस्पायर्ड. You see their face, there is something beyond that face. There is a determination to do something, to achieve something for humanity. Hope, peace, and prosperity. So, Mahatma Gandhi bolte hain, we must be the change we want to see in this world. Leadership के बारे में बहुत मैंने यहाँ समझाया, but you got the essence of it. My favorite is Great Humans or Meteors. ये मैंने अमर सिंह कॉलेज में पढ़ा एक किताब में, called Great Ideas That Move the World. Great humans are meteors, meteors that consume themselves to light the earth, जैसे stars होते हैं. So ये सर्वे मैंने की. What impresses you about other people? पूछता गया कम से कम 1000 people. Knowledge, wisdom, humility, kindness, selflessness, integrity, hard work. ये सब हमें पसंद है. What inspires you? Continued. Truthfulness, children. My own daughter, who is a pediatrician, she said, once I see a child, man, they will honestly tell you anything you tell them. चाहे वो आपको अच्छा लगे या ना लगे. Creativity, innovation, humanitarianism, humanity even with highest accomplishments, positive attitude, have positive attitude, be positive. वो बॉलीवुड की मूवी बनी थी, तो उसको एक्सीडेंट हो गया, कुछ उसको ब्लड टेस्ट किया, तो अंदर से आया, बोला तो तुम्हारा ब्लड टेस्ट हुआ, उसने बोला बी पॉजिटिव. In other words, blood उसका B positive है. The other person took it as BE positive, है कि positive हो जाओ. वो बेचारा बोल रहा था मेरा blood B positive है. So I'm coming to the end, but हमारे ही भारतवर्ष में एक पुल बनाया गया between श्रीलंका and India. काब बनाया गया 17.5 lakh years back. कोई सुनेगा हमारा? कोई हम चिल्लाएंगे, कितना भी चिल्लाओ, लेकिन नासा ने ये ऊपर से देख के कंफर्म किया कि stones were thrown at that time. Perhaps the water was very thin, not too deep, maybe a foot, maybe 2 feet between the two earth links, and people started to throw the stones, and they made, in Kashmiri we used to call it sotu. It's not necessarily a bridge, it's a path, and people could walk on this path. So now you know the legend of Ramayana, 1.75 million years old. So, concluding the presentation, knowledge, wisdom, love, truthfulness, ये चार चीज जो है ना, these are like legs टेबल की. इस टेबल की जिस पर मेरा अभी लैपटॉप बैठा है, knowledge, wisdom, love and truthfulness. This should be enough to inspire us to do great things. I have to show you this slide, and now I conclude. I had an intern by the name of Kayla Isquale. She graduated from MIT. She is doing great. She is incredible. She can join NASA anytime. And there's a thing called Wordle, Wordle. You look in the dictionary, what it means is a Wordle is a visual representation of words, where the size of each word, like यहाँ पर people इतना बड़ा है, NASA बड़ा है, music बड़ा है, people बड़े हैं, बीच में देखो कुमार भी आया है, Kumar, कि जितना फ्रीक्वेंसी उस वर्ड की होगी ना, एट दैट सेंटर, एट आवर सेंटर वी हैव 3000 सिविल सर्वेंट्स, एट लीस्ट 8 to 9000 कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स. ये बनता है अबाउट 11 to 12,000 की पॉपुलेशन, ऑल प्रोफेशनल्स, ऑल डिग्रीड. क्या नहीं है, MIT से भी आए हैं. लेकिन ये वर्डल में मेरा नाम जब मैंने देखा, मुझे आंखों में आंसू आए. मैंने कहा केला ये कहां से तूने बनाया? बोला यू डोंट नो कुमार, योर नेम इज एवरीवेयर एट दिस सेंटर. Now one thing I'll tell you that could have led to that, my hard work. I reviewed more than 12,000 reports, papers. Why? Because NASA told me you have to identify intellectual property. वो मेरा एक काम था, not all the other works that I was doing. So the bottom line is, a village boy from Chandpora, Kashmir, Chandpora, चांद की रहने की जगह, चांद की रहने, चंद्रायन की रहने की जगह से आ रहा है नासा में, और उसका नाम इतना बड़ा, ये कैसे हो सकता है? ये इंस्पिरेशन से हुआ. I always have lived an inspired life, and my sources of inspiration have been various. Every day, I talk to Professor Tukral and I got inspired. She's doing something great. This series itself is an achievement, to get people to think. Now, if you pay attention to this wordle, I got news for you. There is no other name. अगर है, एक आध है किसी का इतना छोटा. There is space, there is this, there is exploration, family, blah, blah. नाम जब आएगा ना, नाम कुमार का आता है. ये कुमार नाम कहां से आया इंडिया में? मैंने प्रोफेसर तुकराल को ये पूछा था, लेकिन मैं थोड़ा सा आंसर दूंगा, रॉन्ग होगा. देयर इज अ वर्ड इन संस्कृत कॉल्ड कोमारियम. कोमारियम इज द अर्लीस्ट एज. अकॉर्डिंग, आई एम नॉट अ संस्कृत रीडर नॉर हिंदी रीडर, बट कोमारियम का मतलब इनोसेंट. इनोसेंट. तो अंग्रेजों ने कुमार को कुमार बनाया, KUMAR. Thank you very much. I enjoyed talking to you. I hope all I said, I want you to get inspired, and that's all I can say. I'm ready for question.
Wonderful, wonderful, sir. Wonderful. If I have to summarize this entire session in one word, just awe-inspiring. Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. And while you were speaking, I had a lot of questions from some eager students that are there with me. But I would just begin with asking you one question, sir. Since you place so much of emphasis on certain human values, uh, I would also extend the question to the fact that what would you say makes our life simple, and what would you say makes our life complex? When do we say life is simple, and when do we say it has become complex?
Okay. I say life is simple when you will pay attention to only to your needs. For example, you know, you have a set of needs. You need food, you need clothing, you need a shelter. For example, you need transportation. There are some basic needs. So these needs are not really that difficult to or complex, I would say, to achieve. With reasonable effort, with reasonable sincerity, honesty, truthfulness, you people should be able to sustain their needs very well. Life becomes complex when you want this, want that. This is not right. There was a, I won't say the name, a lady in, where was she? Some country like Indonesia or Philippines, and she had uh, something like 1,000 pairs of shoes. तो 1,000 pairs of shoes को क्या करोगे? Obviously, complexity of life becomes complex with the environment that we are in. Life became complex with uh, this pandemic, right? वो तो है ही है.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if we put more complexity, that I gotta have, a Lexus, I gotta have this type of house next to the lake, and all this, the complexity goes on and on. So I would say complexity of life you will realize only when you have no control over your wants, and simplicity of life you realize when you are concentrated on needs and when you are concentrated on doing something great.
All right, sir. I have a question from Pragati, one of our students. She has asked that, sir, you spoke about how to live an inspired life. Is it possible to remain inspired all the time?
It's not only possible, it's what you have to do in order to achieve great things. When you say all the time, all the time means not every second you have to think about inspiration. But in a day, you see something that tells you something. Uh, that is what we need. Yes, it is not only possible, in my case, it has become a habit for me to get inspired. I look at people doing great things, helping. Uh, I went to hospital and I got my this vaccine for COVID
Sir, I'm
19.
so sorry to interrupt you in the middle. Would you just unshare your screen so that we can probably see you completely on the live?
Okay, now let's go here. Uh, Pause share, new share. Should I say pause share? Uh, Stop sharing. Yes.
Yeah, stop sharing.
Did that happen? It didn't. Uh, well, I think I could do something here. End show. Did that help?
I'm still able to see your presentation on the screen.
Stop share.
Wonderful, sir. It's fixed.
O-
Perfect. Please
Okay.
continue, sir.
So, no, now I'm ready for the next question. As I said, to me, I'm inspired every day. Otherwise, I would not have done what I did. I am a foreigner. Don't forget that. I became a civil servant, government job with security clearance. So I had to be inspired. There are a lot of, we will not talk about it, difficulties. You're in a different country. You're in a different culture. You're, dominated by a different religion, and you're very different. Now, how do you maintain your um, pace? How do you outpace other people? How do you excel? That's where I'm saying I was inspired every day. Whenever I would see an astronaut, I would get inspired, for example. Go ahead.
Okay, so thank you for that answer. Now I have another question from a student of ours, Kavya. She has asked, do you think that social inequalities have deepened during the pandemic? If yes, what can we do, at least at a personal level, to bridge these gaps? So perhaps
Okay.
she's asking from a student point of view.
Well, whatever point of view, I will say we can do a lot. And what we can do is like Mother Teresa said, small things with love. Take, for instance, my example. During this pandemic, we did 5 distributions of food in Faridabad. Kinko, people who had extremely low income, didn't have any job, they are laborers, they couldn't get anywhere, anything. Small thing. Each time we served about 45 to 50 families with enough ration for a week, you know. So the answer to that question of Kavya is, don't think big. It's difficult to do big things unless you are Ambani, or some rich person. Okay, then you could think big. But at our level, think small. Think what you can do for this family or a person or a student that doesn't have resources. Do research around you. Go around you. This is what we have done to identify these 65 or so students. Is we've gone around to see who is really suffering. So once you do that, come out, do something for them. If you cannot monetarily do something, talk to them, make them feel better. Older people like myself, if you talk to me for 5 minutes, Kavya, you made my day. मैं खुश हो जाऊंगा. So I hope I answered the question. Little things
Beautiful.
will make big difference. Big.
Okay, sir, my next question for you is coming from PhD scholar Anushka Patara. What she wants to ask you is that the nature of your job is dependent upon so many complex and technical and technological factors. Thus, there's a lot of uncertainty. So, what is your view on distraction as a hurdle in this journey, and how would you understand it as a NASA scientist, and how would you cope with it?
Okay, that is where the key word is purpose of life. Can I give a personal example of distraction?
Sure, sir. We would love to know your experiences.
2 distractions I had, major. Forget the minor distractions. One, my wife wanted to start a business. So we started Kashmir Arts India Imports about 30 years back. Opened a shop next door to NASA, beautiful shop, and we are bringing all these carpets and woodwork and marble work and all kinds of different things, products from Kashmir, from India. Suddenly, something hit during Reagan administration. There was a depression, and so we had to close the shop. Now my distraction was, my wife said, well, can you leave your job and let's open a shop in a rich place? We are here next door to NASA. These people don't have that much money. These are civil servants, okay? Let's go up scale, uptown to Houston and open a shop. That was a major distraction. I came one day, I'm coming from home to NASA. I looked up to the skies. I said, I want to be thinking about space, not thinking about making more and more money. Distraction number two, my wife finally said, okay, I got to go open another business. By that time, she had masters in human resources. And we opened DDMS, data and documentation uh, uh, business. And she had like 31 people working for her. Finally, she realized the crunch, something changed, and she didn't get a contract for 2 3 years. Again, she approached me. I know if you will leave your job, listen to this, Professor Tukral. If you leave your job, you can make this business go way high. We will be earning millions of dollars. I went to my office, closed my eyes. I said, is that what I came for here? Make more money? The answer was no, therefore. Distractions will happen. They are natural. Take them like natural. ये होने वाला है. The thing that you will need is purpose of life. Purpose क्या है? मैं निकला घर से 10वीं जमात पास करके मैं थोड़ा ही पैसा कमाने निकला. My journey and purpose was to attain knowledge, be a learner. So I don't know if I answered the question. So the thing to do is stay focused on the purpose. What's your purpose? If anything else comes, avoid it, go around it, go over it, pass it. Go ahead.
Okay, my final question to you would be coming from one of our students, which is Gehna. Uh, what would be the major leadership challenges in maintaining task engagement and motivation post the COVID world? In other words, what I feel is the main title of our webinar today. What would be your silver lining in this pandemic? How are you going to um, give a message out to our students, as in, how to develop this habit of looking towards the positive side?
Okay. Uh, what we learned from the pandemic, everybody has their lessons learned. Mine is this. We don't have solutions for many problems. First solution, we didn't have the biological solution. We didn't have a
Right.
vaccine, right?
Hmm.
Second, when you close all the businesses, you create unemployment. Where are people going to earn the money? Where is the food going to come from? Where are the resources that we need, water, etc., coming from? So I learned from pandemic that we are not ready to take on these kind of problems, you know. So what I would leave with students today is be inspired. Now you know at this time humanity is suffering. This suffering is you are seeing only a piece of that iceberg. Okay, the bigger suffering will come in the years to come because this thing will show up next year, year after. How, in other words, the damage that was done will unearth itself, become bigger, more visible. People who, poor fellows, didn't get any resources for a year or more than a year now, health suffered, mental health took the worst hit. Worst hit.
Completely
ये
agree.
सब हुआ. ये सब हुआ. We were alienated from our loved ones. क्या नहीं हुआ? So students, my students, please do what you think is right. But I think for me, the right thing to do is dedicate some of my resources, some of my time, some of my energy to helping others. So we can, but again, I go back to last thing I want to tell you. The way you can help others is by having first what others need. In many cases, they need vidya, knowledge, because knowledge is the biggest thing. How do I serve? Uh, I talk to people in India, Professor Tukral, and when I talk, I then tell them, can I help you with something? They said, you already did. I said, what did I do? You talked to me, you told me what this pandemic is about, how it transfers from one person to the other, etc., etc. So get knowledge. Once you have that knowledge, you have some commodity, you have some thing that you can share with others. You have some resource at your disposal. So then get inspired to do something great. So you can take a step back. If you're not able to help at this time, but you are able to understand what needs to be done next year, year after, that's good enough. Get educated, become knowledge. That should be your priority. So that then, once you are educated, knowledge, you have something that you can share. You will find where you fit in the society, where you will make the greatest impact only after you have that vision, education, knowledge, vidya. See, हमारे literature में last thing I got to tell you, and मैं ये बच्चों को कभी कभी पूछता हूँ कि what's the greatest thing that you can donate? दान अगर करना है तो क्या करना है? Many times I get eye, heart, blah blah. At the end of the day, we have been told the highest donation you can give is the donation of vidya, knowledge. वो बोलते हैं ना, वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड में बोलते हैं कि you can give some people, and I'm paraphrasing, fish every day, but better thing would be to give them the knowledge how to fish.
True, sir.
So that is what I want to leave with students. It's not that you will give somebody some money or, chawal or atta or tail. Nay, if you give them vidya and understanding. Right now, we have students who would never dream of being in the college. एक professor बन गया, assistant professor. उसको रोना आता है when he thinks about all this. He says, how did I become? He got a degree in electrical engineering. Students, you can do it. You can find where you can fit. You can make a difference. But first, get knowledge, get inspired. Develop a purpose of your life. Sit down and write it down. Don't show it to anybody. You don't need an okay from anybody. You need an okay from you, your heart, your mind, and then you need to stay focused on that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kumar, for those words of enlightenment. I'm sure our students enjoyed the session as much as uh, probably you have enjoyed interacting with them. Please accept our gratitude for coming here today, spending your time, sparing time at this odd hour for us. And we really hope to have this continued interaction with you in the times to come as well. I wish you a lot of peace and prosperity, sir, and health. And I would like to extend deep, sincere regards to all the members of the GD Goenka family who have joined us today, all the respected deans, the respected president, sir, the respected vice chancellor, sir. Yes, sir.
My closing comment.
Yes, sir, please.
When President Gyani Singh was here,
Mm-hmm.
तो उन्होंने बोला बेटा तुम्हारा नॉलेज बहुत है, मैंने तुम्हारे बारे में बहुत सुना है. This I am telling the students. You will get recognition. बोला आप राष्ट्रपति भवन में क्यों नहीं आते और एक बार लेक्चर भी दे. So I went there and he made me to sit on the same place where King George had sat. A, B, I gave a talk also. I will send you the letter I received from his secretary. So students, people recognize. And President George W. Bush told his chief of staff, look, this guy has knowledge. He can help us. So that's my closing comment, that once you have something, then you can also get recognition. 2 presidents, I am shocked. वो केला का वर्डल देखा ना कुमार, मैं तो रोना आया मुझे. मैं कैसे ये समझाऊं बच्चों को कि मेहनत करने से, फोकस्ड रहने से, पर्पस डिफाइन करने से, इंस्पायर होके, honesty, truthfulness, you will get ahead. Thank you so much. I spoke too much, but I hope you will
Sir,
pardon
it's
me.
always a pleasure to listen to your wise words. Thank you so much for coming. And I really hope that we continue this engagement with the SOHSS and GD Goenka University that we have with you. And we hope to see you again soon with us. Thank you so much. I would just request our Dean, ma'am, if she would like to say some concluding words.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar. Thank you for this wonderful and inspiring session. And thank you, Shubham.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Namaskar. Have a
Okay.
nice day, sir. Thank you so much.
Bye
Thank you
bye.
to all the students who have joined us today.